When we obtain fame and unforeseen wealth, we have to be careful. You see, deep rooted traumas and poverty mindsets will do everything in their power to self sabotage this. It has been psychologically proven that if you are not used to money, you will soon part ways with it, which is why 70% of lottery winners end up broke within 7 years. In black culture, a slime mentality is doing whatever it takes to reach an end goal. Backdooring, wiping noses, and often triple crossing, making one believe that they can trust you just to turn around and harm them by way of infiltration, theft, or murder. Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia is notorious for its slime mentality and is no stranger to gang activity, drug activity, and violence. It is one of the most poverty-stricken areas in Atlanta and is considered home to Jeffrey Williams, aka rapper Young Thug. Young Thug's street notoriety grew rapidly as one of the top-ranking members of a blood-affiliated gang called the Rock Crew, which stands for Rich Off Crime. As he dived into rap, he became well-known within Atlanta's music scene for a series of mixtapes called I Came From Nothing. Young Thug's lyrical wittiness and style was created from an inspiration of rapper Lil Wayne, and as a rising star, he often talked about how Lil Wayne was a major influence. As he continued to perfect his craft and made a name for himself, Thug garnered the attention of Birdman and Cash Money, and eventually found his way onto the Rich Gang tour with Rich Homie Quan. Young Thug has reported that during their initial encounter, his role model Lil Wayne refused to acknowledge him or dap him up. And during their second encounter, Lil Wayne refused to give him a real handshake, which further led to Thug feeling insulted. This encounter started an undercover beef in the Cash Money and YSL camps, which eventually led to a 2015 shooting in which Lil Wayne's tour bus was shot up outside a concert venue in Atlanta. YSL affiliate and Thug's former manager, Pee Wee Roscoe, was sentenced to 10 years in prison for the incident, and phone records revealed that Thug called Pee Wee 8 times in the 12 minutes leading up to the shooting. Like J. Cole said in his famous song Let Nas Down, your idols become your rivals. After his Rich Gang deal, Thug went on to sign a deal with 300 Entertainment with then owner Lear Cohen. YSL, aka Young Slime Life Records, blossomed from this arrangement, and Young Thug went on to sign his own artists, including Atlanta's very own Gunna. Present day as a primary resident of Los Angeles, Young Thug is now one of the highest grossing artists, and you cannot have a conversation about the top rappers without his name being in the mix. But poverty mindsets and generational patterns are so deeply embedded in our subconscious and DNA that it is often hard for us to separate our old selves from our new selves, no matter how much wealth or fame that we obtain. In Thug's past life, he was heavily involved in the streets and was connected to a well-known big homie in a blood gang in Atlanta, Big Nut. If you did not know, big homies are high-ranking members of gangs who have put in excessive time and work into the organization. They are the ones that call the majority of the shots and orchestrate lower-ranking gang members on how to move.
Salute hey, to man, you, why?
Now, this same OG Big Nut was also connected to the YFN camp, which is how Lucci is involved with all of this. Lucci's connection to Big Nut runs way deeper than Thug, and Big Nut vouched for Lucci's rap capabilities, bragging on him to one of his good friends, Fly, the CEO of Think It's a Game. This is the start of Lucci's rap career, and Big Nut supported and stood behind Lucci every step of the way. Now, this is where things get wicked. To the outside world, the reason why Thug and Lucci were beefing was because of what was rumored to be a sneaky link between Thug's longtime girlfriend, Jerica Carlay, and Lucci. But the real beef between Thug and Lucci is deeper than that. It's bloodstained, and it goes back a lot further. So how does all this come together? Even though it's already known in Atlanta by this time, the recent court proceedings now have revealed that the rental car used in the 2015 shooting of Big Nut at a barbershop in Atlanta was rented out by Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug. This is not only the beginning of a divide amongst street ninjas in Atlanta, but everyone was eventually forced to pick a side. And Atlanta's district attorney reported that the aftermath of Big Nut's death created violence like Atlanta has never seen, to include Gunna and Lakeith's music video set being shot up in broad day, YSL affiliate Lil Duke being ran up out of Magic City by Nuts' longtime consigliere Greedy. Lucci's G-Wagon riddled with bullets following a drive-by in Atlanta. YSL affiliate Yak Gotti posing for Instagram pictures standing on top of Lucci's 650 Benz at a popular Buckhead mall. And Lucci's video shoot being erupted by gunfire in which a 15-year-old was shot. And everything recently has now come to a head once Young Thug's home was raided last week and was taken into custody. 28 other YSL members, to include Gunna, have also either turned themselves in or have now been arrested via warrants, facing a laundry list of charges as a result of a 56-count RICO case, to include murder, armed robbery, aggravated assault, and participation in street gang activity. So let's talk about proving, because that's the real issue here. YSL basically handed this case to the DA on a silver platter. All because they wanted to proving in lyrics, proving in Instagram photos, and proving behind the wall. I mean, you cannot make this up. The DA has been sitting on this for 7 years since Nut died. Political moves, wiretaps, and the dividing of Atlanta included. YSL and YFN are both blood-affiliated gangs under the Sex, Money, Murder set. So essentially the beef is within the same organization. Proving. Listen to me very closely. Young Thug is not used to money, so he is giving it all away by gambling his musical talents and gifts down the drain so that he can prove. You see, hedonic adaptation refers to the notion that after a positive or negative event, something good or bad happening to someone, people return to a relatively stable baseline. And an example of this is how people who win the lottery are likely to revert to their original levels of happiness after the novelty of the win has worn off. You see, humans are not nearly as rational as we think that they are. What's more important to us is what's familiar. If poverty is what we are used to, then poverty is where we will find ourselves back at more than likely. New things like new levels of wealth or big gains of mailbox money, like in Thug's case, are unfamiliar. Humans have a strong natural tendency to seek comfort vis-a-vis what's familiar, to try and avoid discomfort and things that are unfamiliar, like the house in the Hollywood Hills in California and the Rolls Royce truck in the driveway. It sounds crazy, it sounds illogical, but this is a cycle of wealth. It's the power of our subconscious dynamic, including the subconscious aspects of our own self-worth. Whatever we feel that's good enough for us. Whatever we feel that we deserve. I do believe that everyone gets what they want. The problem is that many do not recognize or understand what happens in the deepest subconscious parts of the mind, because that's exactly what you're going to get. When we obtain fame and unforeseen wealth, we have to be careful. You see, deep-rooted traumas and poverty mindsets will do everything in their power to self-sabotage this. It has been psychologically proven that if you are not used to money, you will soon part ways with it. If you start on Cleveland Avenue, you will end on Cleveland Avenue. Until next time.